Welcome to iTech 185 Client Server Technology. My name is Matthew Hathaway, and in this tutorial I'll be linking Microsoft Access 2016 to Microsoft SQL Server 2014. In a real-life scenario, Microsoft SQL Server would usually be installed on a server, and Microsoft Access would usually be installed on a client machine. Access is normally used as a front-end connecting to the database. Okay, to start off, I will connect to SQL Server 2014. Here you can see the name of my server. I'll copy that for later reference. I'll connect it to the server. At the moment we don't have any databases, so I'm going to create one. I'll right click, say new database. Give my database a name. Say OK. There you can see my new database. At the moment I don't have any tables, so I'm going to create a new table. And create some fields. I can select the data types. Make sure and set up these things properly, because once they are set up and the database is populated, it cannot be changed after. You have to make sure and set a primary key. Okay, when you finish creating the database, the table, sorry, you need to save the table. Let me just refresh. Okay, there it is. There's my new table that I just created. Inside here now, I'm now going to edit the top 200 rows just to add a few records. There you go, so I've entered 2 records. In my database, and that information is now saved. Okay, now I'm now going to connect or link to Microsoft Access. This can be done through Microsoft Access, or it can also be done through the control panel. It could also part of the process could also be done through the control panel by going to administrative tools and adding a new ODBC data source. I'm now going to add a data source to SQL Server. I need to put down a name for the SQL for my connection. Any name would work here. Here you need to put down the correct name for the database server. That is the instance of my database server. Yes. Use all the default settings, click next. Change the default database and select the table that we created, selecting the database that we created, SCI Institute. Use all the default settings, click finish. We can test the data source. Everything checked out successfully. Say OK. There we have it, a new ODBC driver for our database. You can now close out of the control panel, go to Microsoft Access. Here I'm creating a brand new Access database. It opens up a table by default for you to start creating a new table. I can close out of this. I'm going to external data, ODBC database. I'm going to link data source by creating a link table. Say OK. Go to machine data source. Here I have the ODBC driver that I created from before. Or I could go ahead and create a new link to a new data source. But since we already have it, I'll click on SQL Express SCI Institute. Say OK. I would choose my table that I want to import. Say OK. And there we have it, the link table. Let me open it up just to make sure. These are the records that we created inside SQL Express. We add a few more records just to ensure that it is properly linked. Save any table. Minimize. I'm going back to Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. I just want to refresh just to make sure that the tables are populated. Go to Edit, top 200 rows. There we have it, the information that we entered inside Microsoft Access. And this concludes this tutorial for linking Microsoft Access to Microsoft SQL Server.